If you really loved me, you'd let me have one last weekend with him, she said casually over breakfast. So I let her go and started packing my things. Now she's crying in voice notes while I'm 2,000 miles away and completely unreachable. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. We'd been together for 4 years. Long enough that people asked when I was going to propose, and I'd started thinking about how I'd do it. Vanessa was the first woman I'd ever truly let my guard down for. She was impulsive, dramatic, endlessly ambitious, and sometimes exhausting, but I loved her. She was also broke, stuck between careers, and still financially tied to her mother's health bills. So I stepped in where I could. I covered rent more often than not. I fixed her car when it broke down. When she said she wanted to go back to school for graphic design, I told her to go for it, and I worked extra shifts to keep us afloat. She called me her stability. I thought it was a compliment. Looking back, I think it was more of a label. At first, there were little things I ignored. Flirty comments from her ex, Ryan, on her Instagram. She told me he was just trying to stay friends, and that I was being possessive. He messaged her late at night sometimes, but she said she didn't reply. I wanted to believe her. She was always big on emotional maturity. She said boundaries were a sign of fear. I said I trusted her. That's how I was raised, to lead with good faith until someone proves you wrong. She never posted me, by the way. She said it would limit her personal brand. I thought that was dumb, but I let it go. Her account was mostly art, travel, design tips. Whatever. The first real crack came when I found out Ryan had flown in for a weekend. She hadn't told me. I only found out because I noticed her location was off and her notifications were going silent. When I asked her about it, she rolled her eyes and said, "I didn't tell you because you always get weird when I bring him up. We just grabbed coffee. I needed closure." Closure. That word again. It was the kind of thing that sat in your chest, like a lump you couldn't cough up. But I swallowed it. I told myself it wasn't worth the fight, that I had to pick my battles. The following month, she was sweeter than usual, more affectionate. She started making me breakfast again, asking how work was going, curling up on the couch with her head on my shoulder like she used to. I thought we'd turned a corner. I didn't realize she was softening me up. It was a quiet Sunday. She was making eggs and toast, humming some TikTok audio under her breath. The sun was pouring through the window, and for a moment, it felt like we were back to normal. Then she sat down across from me with her plate, took a bite, and said, "So I've been thinking, if you really loved me, you'd let me have one last weekend with Ryan. Just for closure. To fully let him go. Just like that. Like she was asking me to help her pick a paint color." I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. She kept chewing, oblivious. "What?" I asked. "I'm serious," she said, like I was the one being ridiculous. "You say you trust me, right? So trust me to handle it like an adult. It's not emotional. It's just unfinished business." She said she'd come back more grounded, that she needed to purge the last of the attachment, that this would be healing for our relationship. "You're not going to cheat," I said slowly. "You're going to ask for permission to cheat." She laughed. "It's not cheating if I'm being honest about it." I didn't speak again for the rest of the meal. I finished my coffee, got up, rinsed my plate, grabbed my keys, and I left. She didn't even ask where I was going. I didn't go far. I drove around for a while. No music, just the sound of the road and that sentence echoing in my skull. If you really loved me, you'd let me have one last weekend with him. It wasn't the cheating that hit hardest. It was the logic. The way she turned it into some kind of test of my emotional intelligence, like I was the obstacle keeping her from enlightenment. Like my dignity was something she could borrow and return. I stayed at my friend Marcus's place that night. Told him I needed a few days. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a spare key and a blanket. When I checked my phone, I had 4 texts from her. "Vanessa, can we talk about earlier? Vanessa, I didn't mean to spring it on you like that. Vanessa, I just thought we were past the whole jealousy phase. Vanessa, let me know when you're ready to have an adult conversation." No apology. No acknowledgement of how insane it was. I didn't respond. The next morning, she sent another one. "Vanessa, so is this really how you're going to react? You just leave?" Yeah, I left. And I didn't come back. While she was planning her weekend of closure, I was doing paperwork. I had my name taken off the lease. Froze the shared savings account. took back the spare key from her car, blocked her on everything except email, only because I wanted proof of whatever excuse she'd give when it all fell apart. I left a note with Marcus in case she tried to show up at his place. It said, "You asked for time with him. This is my time away from you. Let's see what closure really brings." By Wednesday, she went quiet. I thought she might have given up. But on Friday morning, the day she was supposed to leave to see Ryan, she sent this. "Vanessa, I'm not doing anything wrong. I told you the truth. That should count for something." It didn't. It was like watching someone argue in a mirror. I turned off my phone and threw it in a drawer. That night, Marcus and I went out for drinks. I laughed for the first time all week. It felt weird, like my muscles had to remember how to do it. The next day, she was gone. Her location wasn't updating. Her socials went dark except for one photo, an overhead shot of a suitcase, her passport, and a glass of wine. Caption, "Letting go of the past." Finally, the comments were brutal. "What did Dylan do? Sis, I thought you were in a relationship. This feels messy. Hope you're okay." I didn't engage. Just watch from a burner account. Let it unfold. She came back Sunday night. I didn't. She didn't know it yet, but the apartment was no longer legally mine. My name was off everything. The utilities were scheduled to shut off at the end of the month. The Wi-Fi too. I'd even had my mail rerouted. That night she called me 5 times. Then she switched to voicemail. "I thought you were mature enough to handle this. I gave you honesty. Most guys don't get that. You said you wanted truth. Well, I gave it to you. Then, you've always been so dramatic when you don't get your way. Then, I don't even know what you're doing right now. Are you with someone? Is that what this is?" Then finally, "Okay, you made your point. Can we please just talk now?" I didn't respond. She thought I'd be waiting on the other side of her closure. She didn't realize I was her closure. She tried to act unbothered at first. That Monday, she posted a story from the apartment. Candles lit, music playing, wine glass in hand. Caption, "Starting fresh." Centered. Lighter. She didn't tag me. Didn't mention me. But every mutual friend who saw it knew. I'd already told a few close ones the truth, not in anger, just facts. One screenshot. One sentence. "If you really loved me, you'd let me have one last weekend with him." That was enough. They didn't argue. They didn't defend her. They just nodded and stopped asking questions. By Thursday, the story stopped. No more quotes. No more healing posts. Just silence. Then came the texts. "Vanessa, okay, I think I need to explain what really happened. Ryan reached out a while ago, not me. He said he had a lot of regrets and wanted to say it face to face. That's all I meant. Vanessa, I didn't even stay the full weekend. I left Saturday night. It didn't feel right. Vanessa, can we just talk? Please?" Still no apology. Still no ownership. Just a soft rewrite of the truth. I didn't answer. So she called. 3 times. I declined each one. An hour later, I got a voicemail. Her voice cracked halfway through. "You didn't even wait to hear what I had to say. I came back expecting you'd be here. I thought, after everything, I at least deserved that. But you packed up and ran like none of it ever mattered. Was it really that easy for you to just forget me?" No, it wasn't easy, but I did it anyway. Because she'd stood in front of me and asked for permission to sleep with someone else and called it love. There's no coming back from that. Later that night, she DM'd Marcus. "Can you please ask Dylan to call me? I just want to fix this." He left it on read. Sent me a screenshot and asked if I wanted him to block her. I told him it wasn't necessary. Let her keep trying. Let her sit with what she created. The next week, I saw her tagged in a brunch post with 2 of her friends. Comments were off. I clicked through one of their profiles later and saw a comment on a separate post. "Vanessa's not coming? I thought you guys were tight." Reply, "We've got different values now." Translation, even her circle was backing away. She wasn't inspiring. She was radioactive. The next message she sent me was longer. Desperate. "Vanessa, I don't know who you've been talking to or what you think happened, but you're turning everyone against me. I made a mistake, okay? I didn't cheat on you. I just made a bad call, but it came from a good place. I wanted to be free of him for you. You're the one I came home to." Then she attached a photo of us from a trip we took to Portland. Her hair was shorter back then. We were sitting on a rock near a waterfall. I looked happy. I didn't feel anything when I saw it. Just a faint memory of a guy who didn't see it coming. That guy didn't exist anymore. She texted again the next morning. "Vanessa, I still have some of your stuff here. Do you want to come get it? I already had everything that mattered. The rest, she could keep or toss. I didn't answer. She started leaving voice notes next. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You won't talk to me. You won't let me explain. I don't want to lose you. Can we just reset everything? Please. I'm not okay. The voice cracked again. Longer this time. Then another. Why are you being so cruel? You said you loved me. Don't pretend you didn't mean it. And another. I hate that you're making me beg. I didn't respond. Not because I didn't have things to say, but because there's nothing left to say to someone who tried to test your love by offering herself to someone else. She called it closure. But all she really did was close the door and lock herself out. I didn't plan on keeping tabs, but people kept sending me things. Screenshots, voice recordings, secondhand stories. Apparently Ryan, her closure, ghosted her completely the day she got back. Didn't answer texts. Blocked her within the week. She tried showing up to one of his events, but he didn't recognize her. That's what she told a friend, anyway. More likely, he just didn't care. She'd burned her relationship, ruined her reputation, and the guy she threw it all away for had discarded her like expired milk. Poetic. Worse still, the friends who used to back her up started fading out. She wasn't fun anymore. Just bitter. Everyone had seen the train wreck play out in real time, and nobody wanted to be collateral damage. She tried reshaping the narrative. Posted vague, healing quotes, memes about being misunderstood, even a reel of her journaling at a park. Comments were off. Likes were low. Then came the rebound phase. She started dating some guy named Caleb. One of Ryan's old friends, apparently. They lasted about a month before she scrubbed him off her feed and posted a reel of her crying with the caption, "Some of us are just too intense for this world." Someone in the comments wrote, "Girl, you just need a mirror and a therapist." It got 300 likes. People were finally seeing her for who she really was. Meanwhile, I transferred to a new city, closer to my brother. Got promoted within 6 weeks. Hit the gym harder. Started eating right. Sleeping like a human being again. It was like pulling poison out of my bloodstream. I wasn't looking for revenge. I wasn't even looking for peace. I just wanted distance. And I finally had it. It had been 4 months when I saw her again. A mutual friend, Lauren, was getting married and invited both of us. I almost didn't go, but I felt calm enough to handle it. Besides, I wasn't the one who should have been ashamed to show up. When I walked into the reception, she saw me before I saw her. I was talking to someone from Lauren's side when I caught her in my peripheral vision, stiffening, half raising her hand like she wanted to wave, but didn't know if she had the right. She looked smaller, tired, pale, still trying to dress like she had an audience, but no one was watching. I nodded once. Later, while I was getting a drink, she finally approached. "Hey." I turned toward her, gave a polite smile. "Vanessa, you look good." "Thanks. I wasn't sure you'd come." I almost didn't. She hesitated, glanced at her drink, then looked back up. "Can I talk to you for a sec? Just outside or something?" I followed her out to the patio. It was quiet out there. She fidgeted with her ring, not an engagement ring, just jewelry, and gave a soft, rehearsed laugh. "You're probably the last person who wants to hear anything from me. I get that." I didn't answer. But I need to say this. I messed up. I convinced myself I was being brave, or empowered, or whatever. I told myself that being honest made it okay. But the truth is, I was selfish. I was wrong. And I miss you every day. She looked at me like she wanted me to crumble. Like all she needed was a flicker of warmth, and we'd fall back into old rhythms. Instead, I asked, "Do you remember what you said to me that morning?" "Dylan, no." "Say it. Do you remember?" She swallowed. Looked away. "I said if you really loved me, you'd let me have one last weekend with him." "Right," I nodded. "And I did love you. But I didn't love you enough to let you walk over me while calling it honesty." She blinked fast. "I didn't sleep with him, if that matters." "It doesn't. I thought you'd be more understanding." "That's the part that stuck with me," I said. "You thought the test of my love was allowing you to betray it." I was confused. I didn't know what I needed. "You needed him," I said. "And now you need me. But the difference is, I don't need you." She flinched. "Do you hate me?" "No. I just don't think about you much." She started to say something else, but I cut her off. "I'm happy now. Genuinely. And not because someone fixed me, but because you broke something in me that needed to go. I'm grateful for that, actually." You showed me exactly what I'll never tolerate again. She stood there, frozen. I'm not mad, Vanessa. I'm not bitter. I'm just done. Then I walked away. She didn't follow. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.